10 ordinary things you didn't know were radioactive. What is radiation and where do you find it? Or more likely, where can it find you because you are unlikely to go looking for it? Is it a scary something that produces three-headed dogs and human-sized mushrooms? Or is it magic that turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk? Or maybe it's a cancer treatment that saved thousands of people? You probably have your idea of what radiation is unless you are science-friendly and know what it is. In any case, you should know that radiation is all around, like love. You don't have to travel to a certain place in Ukraine or take a walk around a nuclear power plant to meet it. It lives right next to you, and it is contained in things you most likely have to deal with on a daily basis. Scary, huh? Brightside will show you 10 most unexpected sources of radiation and tell you which of them you should fear most of all. First of all, let us look at the nature of radiation. Like we said before, it comes in many forms and is all around us. Radiation can be human-made and natural. The sun, for instance, is a huge source of natural radiation, which affects us every day, and we still seem to like it, right? Radiation not only comes at us from outer space, but also from the soil and underground in the form of gases. What about human-made radiation then? It is produced by human inventions like televisions, cell phones, and various medical procedures. One thing you should remember is that it isn't always dangerous. Factors like its strength, type, and length of exposure define that danger level. What is radiation? It is energy coming from some source and traveling through space in the form of waves or high-speed particles. Particle radiation, as the name suggests, happens when particles, or atoms with unstable nuclei to be more precise, give off the energy of mass they don't need. They are just looking for stability. This type of radiation can also be produced by high-voltage devices like X-ray machines. Electromagnetic radiation is of similar origin, but it travels in waves and weighs nothing. A good example of it is light and radio waves. Now that we have an idea of what radiation is, let us answer the critical question we all care about. What can be a less expected source of radiation and how close is it to each of us? Here is the list of 10 things you did not know were radioactive. Number 10. Bananas. What is your idea of a healthy snack? A muesli bar and probably some fruit? That fruit is very likely to be a banana. You eat it yourself and give it to your kids. We have news for you. Bananas produce radiation and it is genetic. Yes, bananas have genetics too, and they can't help it. They are rich in potassium. An average banana emits about 14 decays per second and has around 450 milligrams of potassium in it. Good news is, it is not dangerous for you if consumed in reasonable amounts. Eating around 5 million bananas will probably turn you into a banana and give you radiation sickness. So there is no need to say no to bananas or fear them. However, the radiation in a bunch of bananas can be seen by Geiger counters, so it may be detected at a checkpoint at the border. Number 9. Beer. If you are a beer fan, you're not going to love us for this one. You can even say, what can possibly be wrong with beer? Well, it is not super radioactive, but still, the fact remains. Beer does contain around 390 picocuries per kilogram of potassium-40, that isotope we've mentioned a few times already. The amount is so insignificant you can consider it just one of the ingredients maybe. So you can still enjoy your favorite drink even though it is slightly radioactive. Number 8. Potatoes. Just like beer, potatoes are radioactive. Just a bit. They have between 1 and 2.5 picocuries per kilogram of radon-226 and 3,400 picocuries per kilogram of potassium-40 in them. Chips, French fries, and other foods made from potatoes are also a little bit radioactive. They are still safe to eat, so no worries. Number 7. Cigarettes. We all know cigarettes are not exactly good for our health, and we've seen those scary pictures of smokers' lungs and everything. The news is that many sorts of cigarettes contain materials like polonium-210 and lead-210. Both of them are radioactive, and polonium-210 was even used to kill Alexander Litvinenko. Now that sounds scary. Both materials remain in the tobacco leaves when the cigarette is in the making. When the smoker lights the cigarette and inhales, they come out into the air as a vapor. The The concentration at release might be low, but these chemicals can accumulate in the smoker's body. Some experts believe that they can be the reason of certain cancers. Do you want to take the risk? Sounds like a good reason to quit smoking forever. Number 6. Exit signs. Pretty much everywhere a lot of people go, like schools, college, and your office, safety is a concern. If something happens, all these people will have to find the way to safety. Exit signs are of great help in that case. Have you ever wondered what will make them light up in case of an emergency? Unlikely. Well, obviously, it can't be the main power source of the building, as power often goes out in cases of emergency. So what helps then? A mini power plant? Batteries? Magic? None of the above. Samples of a radioactive isotope of hydrogen called tritium are in fact stored inside the sign. So if something terrible happens and the sign gets smashed, the radioactive isotope can escape and get everyone contaminated. Let's hope that will never happen. Number 5. Kitty litter. If you have a cat at home, you probably feel pretty grateful to kitty litter. It prevents your house from all the nasty smells your fluffy friend can be the reasons for. We have to tell you something. Kitty litter is a common source of radiation. In fact, if you try carrying it across the border in an amount large enough, it can be the reason for the alarm to sound and your journey to be interrupted. Do you know what kitty litter is made of? Like you ever wanted to know. Well, one of its main components is bentonite clay. It does a great job at soaking that poop and urine of your cat, but is rather rich in natural uranium and thorium. Landfills, which thousands of tons of cat litter are dumped into, also get radioactive and may spread this radiation to groundwater, which is pretty dangerous. So next time you feel the urge to play with kitty litter, who knows, maybe you do feel like it from time to time, don't do it. And maybe consider some alternatives to it. Number 4. Granite kitchen worktops. Granite kitchen worktops look solid, rich, and stylish. If you have one at home, you're probably pretty proud of it and like decorating it and casually bringing guests into your kitchen just to show it to them. It might look good, but it is radioactively dangerous too. It is simple. Granite is great at retaining radiation, which occurs naturally. So next time you cook in your fancy kitchen, remember that your food might be subjected to radiation. It is okay in reasonable amounts, so there's no need to smash the granite worktop right now. Number 3. Old pottery and glassware. Imagine you have a Sunday family lunch at home. The guests are there, drinking out of your grandmother's glassware and eating out of your best ceramic bowls, which are like 80 years old. The table is decorated with flowers resting in a vase, which has been passed on from generation to generation. You are proud of your old pottery and would not part with it no matter what. Memories of your grandmother, we know. However, the best thing for you to do is get rid of all that memorabilia right now. Many pottery items which were produced in the first half of the 20th century contain a rather high amount of uranium. It is especially true for those orange and red items. Uranium was mixed into the glaze to give them a brighter color. The greenish old glass is also dangerous due to the same reason. Number 2. Glossy magazine paper. Glossy and shiny magazines. They tell you what to wear this season, how to get over a breakup, and get your muscles bigger. Do you have your favorites? You probably can't wait for the new issue to come out. Not just because it has all that amazing content, but also thanks to that feeling and smell of fresh glossy paper. It looks so much better and richer than non-glossy paper. Have you ever wondered how this glossy effect is achieved though? The paper has to be covered in kaolin, which is a sort of white clay. It can hold radioactive elements such as uranium and thorium. It is not that dangerous for you, but you should still remember what you owe that bright shining to. We are ready to name the most powerful source of radiation on our list. Number 1. Grand Central Station. You may find it a place with some amazing energy or a crazy melting pot you'd rather avoid. Millions of people pass through it rushing to work and back, saying goodbye and hello to their loved ones. We are talking about New York's Grand Central, one of the largest and busiest train stations in the world. You might say there are already many things to be worried about in there. Well, you have to add radiation to that list. The level of it is so high it exceeds the nuclear plant's legal emission limit. It is all due to the station's granite walls. Granite, as we know, is good at keeping natural radiation. While most of the items on this list